A question often asked of Doctor Who fans is, who's your favourite Doctor? Capaldi. No contest. A question not asked as often is, who's your favourite Master? Well, for me, it's Michelle Gomez as Missy. She's arch, she's camp, she's silly, she's utterly hilarious. A real cartoon interpretation of the character that wouldn't be out of place in the Adam West Batman series of the 60s, which I loved. But another question that isn't asked very often is, who's the Master that frightens you most? And for that, it would have to be Derek Jacobi's War Master. He's cold, he's calculating, he's evil, he's charming, there's no panto about him, there's no campness about him, he's totally malevolent. And in this episode of Orbited Eccentricity, I'm going to look at one of the most intriguing episodes of the War Master run for Big Finish. This episode is the James Goss story, The Skyman. The Skyman is one of those stories that's talked about in hushed tones, sort of like Chimes at Midnight and Spare Parts. It's one of those stories. If you haven't heard it, I wouldn't watch any more of my video essay because it's going to be very, very spoilerific, if that's a word. It is a word. I think it's a word. And it will give away the major plot points. So if you haven't heard it, go away, buy it from the Big Finish website and come back when you listen to it. Go on now, go on, off. Are you up to date? That was a good box set, wasn't it? It's one of the best Big Finish have released. They hit the right notes the first time, every single time. But it's that third story, The Skyman, yeah, that story, that we're going to talk about today. Now, in my last video essay, I talked about the Doctor Who story, The Massacre, in how the Doctor refuses to save anybody. In this story, the Master does something worse. He lets his companion Cole try and save a planet. And it's a very small cast. It's a very character-based drama. Derek Jacobi is the Master, Johnny Green is Cole, Emily Barber playing the farmer's daughter Elide, and Robert Dawes playing the farmer Anvar. And it seems like a paradise that Cole has landed in. Yes, he does a few odd jobs. He fixes pumps, he mends bridges. The people there don't seem to like it, but they don't really mind. And it's going really, really well. He even falls in love with Elide. The Master, he goes to as a mentor every now and again. Well, the Master's in his vineyard, just making wine and deliberately not interfering in the events because he's not allowed to interfere. Now, the people of this planet are aware of the Time War, but they decided to get rid of all technology so no one would look at them, that they'd stay under the radar. Is the fact that the TARDIS has landed on this planet, that Cole is using tech, that the Master's on this planet, is this what actually brings the doom upon them? Has the mere fact that Cole wanted to save this planet actually brought about its destruction? And when it arrives, it's a terrible destruction. As I said, Cole and Elide fall in love, and on the first kiss there's an explosion in the sky. It looks like the Time War has finally reached this planet. Lights flash, things fall to Earth, but for the moment nothing seems wrong. And then it all does go wrong. The flocks die, the crops fail, children are stillborn, and the population starts to become ill. Cole seems to think they've been affected by temporal fallout from the Time War, and the Master won't or can't help. There's an old phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and this story is an absolute personification of that, because Cole does what he can. He does what he thinks is best to help these people. He's got technology. He's going to use it. He is going to save the population of this planet. But what he does inadvertently creates something far, far worse. Now, I'm going to warn you all one more time. If you haven't listened to this story, the next section is incredibly spoiler-laden. So if you haven't listened to it, again, go away, buy the box set, listen to the box set and come back. Right, that was your last warning. So Cole realises he's immune to the temporal fallout because he's in a survival suit. So he postulates that maybe he can adapt his survival suit to help the population of the planet, who are getting weaker all the time. He develops temporal dampeners, neural dampeners. He programs the survival suits to go seek out other survivors. He encases the population in steel to save them and inhibits their emotions. Can you see what he's done? Cole, with his good intentions, has inadvertently created a variant of the Cybermen. It's totally heartbreaking. When he puts a lead into her suit, he kisses her, but he's actually kissing her goodbye because he knows she can never ever come out. He sets the people in suits up to find survivors who create more survivors. Unlike the Cybermen that we know that are emotionless, these variants want retribution. They want to leave the planet. They want to have revenge on whoever has done this to them. And it's been done to them by Cole with the best of intention. Now this brings me to the Master. As I said, all along he's been in his vineyard making wine. His creation of the wine is almost a parallel of Cole creating these Cyberman type creatures. The Master, did he know all along that this was going to happen, that this was a fixed point in time, that Cole had to create them, and he manipulated Cole into doing this? Or was he just being cruel and trying to break Cole and show Cole that no, nobody can be saved, no matter how much you want to, you cannot win, there is no good in the universe? It's up to the listener to decide. In fact, the variants that Cole has created actually call him Master. And the end, it's just too much. The variant that used to be the love of his life, a lead, is going to destroy him because he's responsible for what's happened to them. He says, just give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds start to run away. And coldly and mechanically, the lead variant starts saying 1, 2. Cole runs and is taken away by the Master. He's utterly broken. And the Master's response to it is, have a glass of this wine. It'd be insulting not to drink it. Cole's been broken by the experience. Like the massacre, this story could not be considered a barrel of laughs in any way, shape or form. What it is a stunning, beautiful character piece. Character drama is what makes the story. It's the interaction of Cole, Elide and Anvar. It's the Master's manipulation. It's the sudden realisation as a listener what Cole has inadvertently done through the best of intentions. He's created a monster of the worst proportions. He's just made something that could potentially destroy the universe. If it was the Master's idea to teach Cole a lesson that you cannot save anybody, then he's done it with aplomb. If it was just a chance happening, then it's terrifically bad luck. But I think the Master knew what was going on all along. He was a master puppeteer, pulling all the strings from behind the fence in his vineyard, where he just pretended to be just a little old man making wine because that's all he wanted to do, where all along he knew exactly what was going on. As I said, my most frightening incarnation of the Master is Derek Jacobi's War Master, because he seems so unassuming. He just seems so reasonable, but he's cold and he's cruel. And if he'll do this to a planet just on a whim to teach someone a lesson, what is that man capable of? Thank you for watching.